be the best-selling artist in America if you desire.
I was trying to do something bold. Why you sell something flashy?
Rocketman is directed by Dexter Fletcher and it stars Taron Egerton, Jamie Bell, Richard Madden and Bryce Dallas Howard. It's the musical biopic of Elton John, and whilst the director said it's not really like a biopic, if it tracks the highs and lows of someone's life and public life, then it's a biopic. It really is just Elton John reflecting on his life as a whole through the ups and downs that he had during his musical career, his relationships that he's had with his friends and business partners, and how he's overall felt. I'm really sorry if you guys can hear the noise. I think they're doing machine work outside. Let's start off with the acting. Taron Egerton as Elton John, absolutely fantastic. He kills it, he nails the performance really well. Jamie Bell was also really strong in this movie. I haven't really seen him in a whole lot of stuff. I've seen him in Fantastic Four, and that was really the last thing I remember seeing him in. But he did a great job here. And Richard Madden of Game of Thrones also did a fantastic job. He was absolutely fantastic. He was fierce but also kind, and very clearly he was just 110% just a business person. The musical numbers in the film, they're all musical numbers of Elton John's songs. So there might be Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, or Tiny Dancer, or Rocketman, or Crocodile Rock, but not Can You Feel the Love Tonight. Disappointing, I know. But they're all musical numbers from Elton John's musical discography. And they're all absolutely fantastically well done. My favorite one is the Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting one, where it's like most of it's all done in one shot. Obviously, it's very clearly stitched together in some points where you just go, well, that's obviously stitched together, but it all flows together as one shot. It is fantastic, one of my favorite musical numbers, and the movie as a whole, it's really well lit. It is incredibly well lit, and I always find that like a really interesting task when you do like these massive spinning shots. How are you going to light the film? And that's just a testament to the film's cinematography as well. It is an absolutely fantastically well shot film. Everything just looks really beautiful. Rocketman also has, in my opinion, probably one of the best sex scenes that I've ever seen in film. It's incredibly emotional. It's just an incredibly beautiful and touching scene that I think it needs to be commended, because when it comes to just regular sex scenes in films, they're not really there to provide, like, you know, they don't really come across as a thoroughly emotional beat, but this one was incredibly, like, you know, incredibly fantastic emotional beat, and I think this is something that the movie should be praised for, and how it was able to use a scene like that, and no doubt an important scene like that in a time like this in culture. It was an absolutely fantastic scene, and the film overall, really emotional, it's really beautiful. It's a film about love, and it's a film about how a family's love can affect you, and personal love, and love for yourself, and business love, and friendship love. It is just a really nice look at how love affects a person. That being said, I do have a few complaints when it comes to Rocketman. I think there's a general lack of dates when it comes to him and his success. Generally, like, this movie's obviously, you know, trying to look at the point of, well, you know, you know who Elton John is and when his songs are, and by that respect, I understand. But as someone who didn't grow up in like the 70s and 80s, it's really tough to find, like, you know, narrow point the year of which, oh yeah, this is when Elton John was 6, this is when Elton John was 17, this was when he was 23, 25, and so on. So you sort of have to just put it all together into perspectives, and I suppose that's just sort of part of the way of how they, you know, tell the story. It's not really all like that, like, you know, it's not really all chronological and whatnot, however they're going to tell the story, but I think it's something that they probably should have kept in, because it made it difficult to track at times how far time has passed, especially when you're just looking at like Taron Egerton's performance for a vast majority of the film, and your only way of keeping track of his age is either A, makeup, or B, his receding hairline. The story itself also is quite mediocre in some respects, but the way that they tell the story is probably the most interesting way you can tell a cliched and mediocre story, which I have to give commendment on the film. You made it more interesting by changing it up, but also it was still what it was to begin with. And the symbolism in the metaphors in the film occasionally beat the audience over the top with it. Some of it's really apparent, like an angel falling down from heaven, or like a demon, or like you becoming more emotional, revealing the inner. Like, it just becomes really over the top and not as subtle as I think the filmmakers would have liked. but at the same time, all the metaphors like and that, they're very integral to the way the story folds out. So it's not like you can just reveal that, but and it reveals some of the character as well, but it's still very over the top. Rocketman was a really enjoyable movie. It made me feel quite emotional throughout the film. I thought it was really well written, and I think the performances really made the movie what it was. Dexter Fletcher's direction was also very strong in the film as well. I think you know, it's very clear that he picked up some influences from working on Bohemian Rhapsody, and that sort of carried in through to Rocketman. So I will say that Rocketman, Platypus approves. Have you seen Rocketman? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe and comment on the Platypus. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Well done, you made it to the end of the video. Why don't you click on one of these two videos for more content, or subscribe, so just be reminded of when I upload. So you know, subscribe. That'd be great.